I'm pretty positive this guy was just like driving down the street in the shower. You know, when your best ideas come to you, those spots, those moments. And he's like, oh, I got a banger. Pulled over, hopped out the shower, ran through. We've all done it, you know, soaking wet towels up. You're like, oh man, dude, I got to write this down. Great idea. This is what one, and I want to get the name of them here. It was Scott Barrett of Fantasy Points. Okay. Awful take. Phenomenal wording in the take. Had this to say about Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith's offense. Quote, I think we know what the Arthur Smith offense is. A sloth-paced World War II era level of run-heavy offense. That's bad for the pass catchers, but could be great for the running backs. A sloth-paced World War II era run-heavy offense. I think Arthur Smith should put that on his resume. That is what is the Arthur Smith offense? That is the description of his offense. Look, I talked about this on the Steelers afternoon drive the other day. They asked me about it. I stick with the same thing. Arthur Smith's offense is not great for fantasy football. It is not great for anybody looking to have 10 receiving touchdowns. It's not great for any running back looking to have 12 rushing touchdowns. It's great for an offense that is going to use guys like Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, Marquez Callaway, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, Connor Hayward, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, and George Pickens, because everybody's going to catch a touchdown. Everybody's going to catch 2 touchdowns. And it does not matter if somebody has 8 touchdowns as long as the team scores 4-5 touchdowns in a game. And Arthur Smith's offense seems to do that. I think that he gets a bad notion he's got a bad notion attached to him because guys like Bijan Robinson, who were on my fantasy football team last year and was a pain all season long to keep that man in the starting lineup, hurt me every single week, but you had to do it. People like that who are just looking at Robinson didn't have big numbers. Drake London didn't have big numbers. Kyle Pitts didn't have big numbers. That's an issue. It is an issue if everybody else is having also terrible numbers. But if everybody's scoring touchdowns, who cares? At the end of the day, it's the Steelers could care less about your fantasy football team. The Steelers could care less about fantasy points, fantasy football team, and they care less about a sloth-paced World War II era run-heavy offense. Because if it scores touchdowns, that's all they care about. And Arthur Smith's offense scores touchdowns. So who cares about the sloth-paced whatever? It's about how many guys can get in the end zone and how many times can you do it a game. No issue on my part.
Not only that, the big thing for that is what was one of the biggest issues when Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator? 3 and outs, your defense gets wear down by the end of the game. If it is sloth-paced World War II offense, but it is also effective, your defense gets to sit on the sideline longer and longer. And with how good the Steelers defense is, that's only a positive for that team. And let's also not forget, the bar is very low for Arthur Smith. You're mentioning 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. Heck, 3 touchdowns a game. They were 7-0 when they scored 20 or more points. That is not a Herculean task by any means. You don't need to have the next, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. You just need to score 20 points, and this team will be in every single game. So the bar is very low. And honestly, if it's slow paced but effective, that's even better for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, if you're going to run the football, the most effective way to win football games is to run the football effectively and use all 3 downs to get a first down and then score a touchdown. You take 9 minutes off the clock on an offensive drive, you are loving life. Because, the big men are tired up front. They're exhausted. But your defense is fresh, ready to go. TJ Watt told me this a couple of years ago, and it has stuck in my head more than most things that have stuck in my head that I've learned in this career. And that is that the goal is 21 points or is 20 points. If you are a defense, you believe that if you keep a team to under 20 points, you win that football game. And the Steelers do that exclusively. That if they could keep a team to under 20 points and their offense can score more than 20 points, they win football games. That's all you got to do. If 3 touchdowns come and you get 1 a quarter, or 4 touchdowns come, you get 1 a quarter and you hold the ball half of the quarter, you're feeling good. You're feeling real good. Time of possession's phenomenal. Sloth-paced World War II era run-heavy football is the motto. We need T-shirts. That should be everywhere, because that is what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do, should be doing, and it's going to win football games. No questions asked. I'm all for it. I think we should. Nobody make that t-shirt. I want the t-shirt first.
I got some ideas. Yeah.
I was like, we're already thinking t-shirts here. They'll be out shortly.